Hi everybody, today I'm going to be talking about the Gavotte at the end of Suzuki Viola Book 1. I'm going to play through it once and then talk about some things. There's a lot in this piece, so this might be a little longer video. Try to bear with me here. Okay, so if I were playing this piece for real, I would then go back to the beginning and play until it says fine, okay? Because that's what it means when it says DC El fine. So let's jump right in. So a lot going on in this piece. First thing, of course, you always want to look at the key signature, right? No sharps or flats, so it must be in C major. That means you have to watch out for your F naturals and your C naturals specifically. So anytime on the A string, you have second finger, it should be a squishy 2. Anytime on the D string you have a second finger, it should be a squishy 2. Now when you do have second finger on the G string and the C string, that'll be normal. Okay, just make sure you're looking for that. There's also a lot going on with the bow in this song, so let's talk about some of that really quick. In the beginning you see all those dots on those notes. Those are going to be our staccato notes. Okay, so nice and short and crisp like this. Okay, make a really big difference between that and when you see the notes with the lines over them. So like in measure 17, there are lines over the notes. Those mean legato or long. Cantabile that you see there below means singing, so it should sound like a really dramatic opera singer. Okay, cantabile goes like this. Notice how I'm using a lot of bow and I'm trying to make it really smooth when I change my bow. Okay, so make a big difference between the staccato and the legato. Alright, next thing we need to look at is in the second measure. Okay, a couple things going on here. You have a grace note, which you have seen before, right? It's just a little note that comes right before the beat. Okay, make sure you are starting the note with, in this case, the first finger down and then throwing your second finger down. Sometimes I see people go like this and they try to throw down both fingers at once. That's not going to work. Okay, so practice maybe even just doing, getting your first finger ready and then going, and then going back. Right? Which brings me to my next point about this measure. There's a big string crossing. You're going from G string to A string. Okay, so the best way to practice this is just to put some pauses in to practice rolling your bow and making sure you're not making any extra noise while you're rolling, like this. Okay, there should be no noise as you do this. Okay, so practice that a little bit. You do want to watch out, there are some accidentals in this song. Even there's accidentals for your grace notes. So like in measure 4, that little tiny grace note has a sharp on it, so it's F sharp. You also have an accidental, let's say in measure 7. Okay, you see that there? You have a C sharp. So if you recall, I'm sorry, not a C sharp, an F sharp, okay? So if you recall how you play an F sharp on the C string, it should be a stretchy 3. It should be a pretty sizable stretch, like so. Okay, notice you're playing a normal third finger on the G string, so it's going to be a change when you start to do that stretchy 3 on the C string. All right, what else? Oh, another thing I really wanted to talk about with the bow. So you notice throughout the piece, there keeps being a phrase and then a rest. Phrase, rest, phrase, rest. Every single one of those rests, you're going to want to reset your bow so you're in a good position right in the middle or towards the balance point a little bit, so that you can get a good, nice sound every time you start out. And because every time you start out, you're starting on a down bow. So let me demonstrate if I can. See how I kind of ended up near my tip? Maybe that's my fault, but take this opportunity to reset during the rest. Reset again. You get the idea. Okay, next thing that's totally scary in this piece is you're starting to add 16th notes. So look down to where you see the notes with 2 lines going across the bottom. Those are your 16th notes. There are 4 16th notes in a beat, so you can even think something silly like pepperoni, 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 or Mississippi, or teary, teary. Something like that to help you remember there are 4 of them in a beat. When you're first starting out, it might be easiest to practice them with separate bows, nice and slow. There's no shame in that. And when you're first starting out, the easiest one to learn is in measure 24. So let's jump to that first. Take note, you have a squishy 2. It goes like this. Okay, so you could practice that one first, just to get to the idea of it. You can do it separately. And then, if you want to add the slur, just know that all the 16th notes are in one bow direction, so your bow is just going. Okay, you can try practicing them separately, all of the 16th notes. The one that's going to be really hard is in measure 20. Watch out for these ones because you have an F sharp and then an F natural, and you're using 4th finger. There's just like all this stuff going on. So you might want to practice it slowly with separate bows. Right, until you get really comfortable with that, you can start to get a little faster. As you get faster, you can start trying the bowing. Actually, in some ways, it can make it easier. And just get faster and faster until it becomes more comfortable. All right, last thing we got to talk about is in the last 2 measures. Okay, you notice you have a up, up, hooked bow in the last 2 measures. That's there to help you get ready to pluck. Now I want to challenge you in this piece to try plucking without going to your elementary death grip plucking, okay? I want you to try, because it happens so immediately, to try going straight from your bow to plucking without changing your bow hand. All you have to do is have a nice loose bow hand and turn your hand a little bit and see if you can wiggle that index finger. If you can, then that's going to do all the work for you. Okay? You can even use your arm a little bit to do the plucking so that your finger doesn't have to, it doesn't need to be like that. It could be arm doing it. Okay, so try it like that. It's kind of fun once you get there. So it should be like this. All right. I know there's a lot going on in this piece, so if you have questions, you can message me. We can set up a video lesson, or I can just make a video addressing any specific concerns. Thanks for staying tuned through this, okay? Talk to you later.